Cari, amici, sportivi. Welcome to yet another edition of Red Card Weekly. Here we mostly speak about SerieA, some European, sometimes some international. And yes, we're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be. I'd like to introduce first to my left, Francis. Even though my beloved Inter this week didn't lose, I will be keeping on drinking a lot of booze. Colo Giacomo. To my right, Steve. Wait until you hear what I have to say about you, Mr. Allegri. Pirlo? And I am Vince. Il Milan oggi non ha giocato con certezza, ma almeno la Regina ha fatto il gol della salvezza. Yes, Regina is going to keep in Serie B next year. No Serie C next year. Forza la Calabria. Welcome, guys. We've got a lot of things to go about. Second last week of Serie A. Francis, what do we got?
Well, finally, Napoli officialized their second spot. And let me tell you, they partied like they won the Scudetto. Do you think, guys, you find it normal that Napoli celebrated with such enthusiasm, even if they didn't win the Scudetto, that they were excited at that level?
Well, it's good for them, for Napoli, something to strive for. Because once you've put your goals up there, their goal was for Champions League, and I think maybe deep down inside, knowing that they're going for Champions League, that extra revenue, it might mean to a certain percentage that Cavani will probably stay. Steve, you think maybe it has something to do with the whole celebrating?
I personally don't like it. I find it's an ongoing soap opera in the Serie A. As soon as Juve took a commanding lead of the Scudetto, everybody was saying that second place is the real Scudetto. Some people are even saying, we're not going to name any names, Allegri, third place is the Scudetto. I don't understand where we've come to in the soccer. Basically, when you win the Scudetto, it's because the next year you have the privilege of wearing the shield on your jersey. To my knowledge, second place and third place don't get squat.
Okay, but in all honesty, guys, nobody's surprised that Juventus won the Scudetto this year.
No. Well deserved, like we discussed last week.
Just before the season started, did anybody think that Napoli would finish in the top three? In all seriousness, Roma had gotten better. Inter, we thought would be a bit better. Milan's always Milan.
You thought Inter would get better.
That's right. The way they started and everything. Let's be honest. Did you think Napoli would finish second? Look at so maybe in the end it is a victory for Napoli.
For them, it's a victory because at the beginning of the year, if you rewatch our first shows, we were debating the top 5 spots, and we put Napoli in those top 5. We had put Lazio, we had put Roma, but I couldn't have predicted Napoli finishing second.
I have to say, not to toot my own horn, I thought that Napoli was going to contend for the Scudetto in the Serie A pool that we did here at the Parkway.
Yes.
I put Napoli at the top. And for me, if I am a Napolitan fan, and also a Milan fan and everybody else, I'm a little bit disappointed in the season. So to celebrate like I won the Scudetto, when in reality I was 10 to 12 points away from the Scudetto, and let's not forget the 2 points that they took away and they gave me back.
Only in Serie A.
I'm a little bit disappointed in Napoli for celebrating like that. It's nice with the kids, it's the last game, blah, 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 but you didn't win the Scudetto.
Well, let them celebrate a little bit.
But the end of the line is you didn't win the Scudetto. What's there to celebrate about?
They're making Champions League?
The whole point of the Serie A is to win the Scudetto. If you don't win the Scudetto, you're not supposed to celebrate because you did not accomplish what you accomplished.
But you know what? Next year, we might have the same scenario, like looking at Juventus on top and the other teams fighting for that second, third spot.
We shall see.
Guys, elsewhere, Milan was playing Roma today. 0-0. It wasn't a great game. But Milan has to play with more urgency because now, that third spot, they haven't clinched it yet.
Montari decided to not keep his emotions in check. And I was looking at Montari like, no, don't touch your... telling the referee, don't... If Leonardo from PSG gave a little spallata to the referee and he got like a minimum 10 to 15 game suspension, possibly even a year, what is Montari going to get?
It's not the same situation. Leonardo was doing it out of anger. Montari was just trying to prevent the ref from taking out the card.
Montari, unfortunately, I know his intentions, it's all about the love and for Balotelli, but you know what? You dictated that was the TSN turning point, as we should say. It was bad, and then it was a very, not a good game, but I wouldn't be able to say that the one team was a lot better than the other one. But now we have to go to Siena. and have to win because Fiorentina wins and we tie or we lose. Bye-bye.
But Siena's relegated already.
So okay, here, say it.
No, I'm just saying, Siena's relegated. They have nothing to play for. Just like Pescara is also relegated. Fiorentina's playing Pescara. I'm just saying, so Milan should get the win and pretty easy.
Without any conspiracies or anything.
Are you stressed a little?
I'm not stressed.
You guys worried? Because I wouldn't be worried at all
if it wasn't Siena, because you know what it is, you're going to play Siena and then you're gonna go there. Okay, it's Siena. We're gonna take it easy. We're gonna win.
Yeah, but they can't be in that position of saying we're taking.
I know. But then there's Allegri making decisions.
I have to say that I'm not stressed about playing Siena because of the position that they're in. That yes, okay, they're already relegated. They're always tricky games. The last game of the year, they want to go to SerieA B with some positive, which canter. But the quality of Milan, which they showed in, let's say, the second half of the season, we shouldn't even be in this point here. We should have clinched this a long time ago. We lost too many points. Again, today on Twitter, after the game, Allegri said, Montari shouldn't have been sent off. I'm going to go one step further. Allegri, Montari shouldn't even have been on the field. Because again, you started. Now we switched to Nocerino for Ambrosini, but it's again a lumberjack midfield that cannot create nothing. And again, he started Boateng up front, which obviously doesn't work every time he does it. And I feel like a broken record, but his tactics, unfortunately, for this game were all wrong.
You know what? Yeah, he's
in an important game like this, guys, let's face it, all the people on Twitter are going to say, there's some positives. There's no positive because you're Milan at home. We're a Milan that all of a sudden third place is very important to us, where we have 7 Champions League and 18 Scudetto. Yes, 18, we count them properly. And now we've reduced ourselves to fighting for a third place. We lost the 4th place because the rest would have been called.
But at this table, early on to the season, the only person that thought that Milan would make a comeback from that horrible slump is Vince.
Yes.
You actually thought they could win the Scudetto. You exaggerated
a little bit. What I
but
said,
you believe they could come back.
What I said exactly, I think it was week 6 or week 7, is that I'm not going to judge this team until we get into halfway through the season. And halfway through the season, I'm not going to throw in the towel right away. Some of us, our glasses are half full. Some of us, our glasses are half empty. And it's all Allegri's fault. Unfortunately, he's all kinds of stressed right now. Are you okay?
I'm very angry because this was going to be a statement game. This could have made the whole season a little bit more positive. Clinch the playoff, beat Roma.
And if I'm not mistaken, Balotelli got a yellow card today. If I remember correctly, he got a yellow card the last game, so I don't even know if he's going to play.
He might get suspended.
Mancini, we'll see. So at least there's something to watch for next week.
The other games, not much mattered. We're just going to look ahead a bit for next year.
Did you guys realize Juventus' celebration when everybody was coming out, giving the hands to the kids and everything? Did you guys realize that Jovinko was at the same height as those kids there on the... Everybody, the kids were all giving high fives to the players, and when Jovinko came, they were giving high fives like this.
Guys, let's talk about the other big teams. They have a great season. I'm talking about Roma, Inter. Let's start with Roma. A lot of people had bright hopes for Roma before the season. They spent money. Now, next year, it seems like they're starting over at the exact same point as where they started this year. Now, next year, should we take Roma seriously? A new coach. Again, they're talking about investing a lot of money into the team. Or do you think Roma next year is going to be the same thing, more or less?
Roma, the culture of the team needs to change. And it has to change for once and for all for good. Now, depending on the direction that they want to go, again, we're going to give them another try. But there's only so many times you have these chances to restart.
Yeah.
They tried the Zeman experiment. Zeman, unfortunately, we understand his tactics. No one understands his tactics. So now, are they going to keep Andreoli? Are they going to switch for someone else? That has to be the major focal point this year. And then they have to purchase players who fit the mold, who will be able to support players like Totti and De Rossi, and not lose players like Osvaldo, Lamela.
Yeah, but the problem with Roma, rarely they buy world caliber players. They buy really good players, but really they have a hard time attracting those top players. I mean, those players that make a difference. Maybe that's why they're stuck in that middle somewhere.
If they, you know what, maybe guys, having, I'm not saying, a guy like Mourinho, a guy like, that will take away all the attention away from the team onto the actual coach, being able to create a formation that would fit those players there. So I don't know, because guys, Totti, he's not going to play forever. All these guys here, you got to find them a space.
There has to be some kind of changing of the
Do you think they could make an offer to Guidolin at Udine?
I think, you know what, yeah, that's a very good point, Francis.
And would he leave Udine to go to Roma?
Guidolin has nothing else to prove for me. I think we're going to be discussing. I don't think it's a big surprise for us. It's probably the SerieA Coach of the Year. Once again, getting stripped of everything and still fighting. I think they've won 4 or 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
They're in fifth.
They're going to play in Europe next year.
They're going to play in Europe next year. So we'll see. But I do believe that the key thing there is having a coach that could grab that team by the horns and go direct it in the proper manner.
All right, another team that started really well, went into a slump, now they're finding their form. Lazio. Now Lazio next year, they're talking about probably Hernanes is going to leave. I'm not sure if Klose has a contract next year, it's over. Guys, if they lose those 2 pieces, is it the end of Lazio fighting for those 5-6 spots, being in the mix, or do you still see them being troublemakers next year?
We know that this year Lazio was a little bit disappointed. They had a good start. They had a period in time where they struggled very, very bad, which we have to say to everybody, they did go through some injuries. Hernanes had an injury.
Whoa. Nobody could complain about injuries after what happened to Inter this year. That's all I want to say. Keep on going with your point.
They did go down when they were playing a lot of Europa League as well. And the depth of the team.
The depth of the team, we spoke about that. We understand Lazio will forever be, until there is a complete change and some investment and a normal president, because that's another retard president. Lazio is going to be that team where they're either going to have a good first half of the season and a bad second half of the season, or a bad first half of the season and a good second half.
Maybe a good end to the season. I don't see it happening. I see Roma winning the Coppa Italia. It's on the 26th of May. We'll see what happens from over there. I think right now for both teams, it will be a great finish, something to strive for the end of the season. Because I believe Roma and Lazio, their fans have been going through the emotional roller coaster all season.
Now we have to talk about Inter, guys. Yes, that a horrible season.
Can you reach over for those Kleenexes?
I won't cry, guys, because I got over it. But I'm just saying, the problem with Inter is that, guys, it was a wasted season, even if we talk about the injuries and everything, in the sense that we were told about this project before the beginning of the season, which was fine, so we didn't go into the season with high expectations. Yes, we started with 10 wins in a row and everything, we start believing, but I think that was exactly the problem. Those 10 wins in a row made us believe that, oh yes, we have a chance to contend, and that project went out the window.
The project went out the window, and I don't know if you guys saw midweek, there was some SerieA games, and the Curva Nord, the fans from Inter pulled up a striscione for President Moratti and asked him to answer a couple of questions. One of the questions was if you said that it was a project about having the youngsters, why sell guys like Livaya and so on? But and I was telling Francis this on Friday night, and I think this is the first time in my life that I feel bad making fun of Inter. And then I turned around and I'm like, but if Milan was in this position, would he make fun of us all day? Yes. No, I don't. He did make fun of us.
Listen.
But Inter, honestly, I think the big decision for Inter is, do we move forward with Stramaccioni, or that? I think that's
I'm going to stop you there. The big decision for Inter and Moratti, because he's going to continue to be the president there, is he's going to need to surround his front office upstairs with quality guys, whether they're ex-Interistas who love the crest just as much as he does, and who purchase players for the good of Inter, not just to purchase players. Because we have to admit that on Inter there's a lot of garbage.
But that's exactly the point, guys. You need somebody with a proper plan. It looks almost like they go on a weekly basis, and there's no proper way of thinking, a long-term.
There's no goal.
They just go up, and it almost seems as if they're improvising, guys.
Branca needs to go. I think everybody in Italy, ourselves, anybody that cheers for Inter and cheers for Serie A, Branca needs to go. If you ask me, I think you should stick with Stramaccioni, give him maybe a couple of months try, next year see how it goes, but if it keeps on going the same way, unfortunately, you gotta let him go.
Another thing, I'd like to ask every Inter fan, would you be more confident, even after this disastrous season, going into next year, with Coutinho on the team still, with Livaya as a possible future striker, there would be some hope. But with Schneider still on the team.
People believe that these players were part of the project, and that's the problem. That was one of the questions by the Inter Ultras. This project, but you just got rid of Coutinho, which was one of the bright prospects of that team. You got rid of him for peanuts.
For peanuts.
And, in all fairness, Inter fans are right to be pissed off because we were lied to, basically.
And the beginning of the end, again we'll mention it, was that whole Schneider saga. It was very badly handled.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately for me, Schneider, still a world-class player for me. It's very unfortunate because Inter could have been there contesting for probably one of the top 4 spots.
All right, Fiorentina is still in the hunt thanks to that result from Milan. So we'll talk more about Fiorentina next week when we'll know what will happen and we'll go in details about that.
I just want to add something with Fiorentina. I feel bad for Palermo because Luca Toni sent them to SerieA B.
Luca Toni. And but on another side note, Palermo, I believe this is the best thing that could happen to Palermo.
Yeah.
I believe that they need to go to SerieA B, rebuild, make a bit of cash, sell some good players, and Zamparini is going to be firing himself, I heard, and he's going to rehire himself as the president of
I
Palermo.
feel bad for Palermo because they're a well-supported club and everything, but whatever happened this year was an embarrassment to Serie A.
Yeah.
So they don't deserve to stay on those bases. I'm not blaming the fans, but beyond.
There was a little study done, and they said if they would have kept their current coach who started the season,
Which one? You know, there was
Number
a couple of
6.
them.
Number 6 we're talking about.
if they would have kept, he was averaging almost about a point every week. They would have been better than saved. They would have been in the middle of the pack comfortably next to Cagliari and Genoa.
But we will keep on supporting Zamparini. Go.
So next week, guys, we'll finish off the season, obviously with the Milan-Fiorentina situation, and we will have our Serie A Team of the Week. If you guys want to give us suggestions on our Facebook page, you're more than welcome. Let's talk about Ferguson, because a big news in soccer this week. Ferguson finally resigning after so many years, so many titles. And now the question that everyone's asking, is Ferguson the greatest coach of all time? Or what's your overall impression of Ferguson, guys?
Well, for me, for Ferguson, coaching-wise, some people are going to say, like, oh, he always had the great players and stuff. But Ferguson, if you look at the Manchester United got their 20th premiership, 13 came under Ferguson's leadership. I believe Ferguson was always able, he never had, like, you know, a starting, like, let's say the Galacticos, Real Madrid, never had those starting 11 superpowers, but he was always able to get it done. He was always, well, you know, he always had those quotes, but he was never into controversies. I believe...
Let's stop it.
He was involved in a lot of
Exactly.
controversies.
Forlan took a cleat in the face to make him leave Manchester United. Beckham took a cleat in the face. I think probably Rooney took a cleat in the face. So the
He has a
controversy,
reputation.
Sir Alex Ferguson,
Abusing referees.
Exactly. He was, let's say, his persona and his reputation allowed him to go a step further than any other coach. Ferguson, I will not take anything away from him. I take out my hat to him that he went 20 years in a very, very tough game where a lot of
26.
coaches... We'll say 20. No. When he was Manchester United, those are the only ones that count. Take off my chapeau. He was very, 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 very lucky to always have the support of his owner, even when he didn't get a result. Never did the merry-go-round of
They
changing
stuck by him.
coach. They stuck by him. But guys, we have to remember that the English Premier League, a couple of years back, that was the worst league in soccer. Guys, he didn't have a contender for the great Manchester United teams because they had all the best players. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying that has to be put into the equation.
There was always somebody. It was Chelsea not too long ago. Before that was Arsenal. The last 10 years he had competition.
He had competition, he got it done. For me, guys, I truly let's talk about this before we move on to something else. Do you guys think why Ferguson now? And I believe that Ferguson decided to retire now at this time of the year because maybe, according to me, he doesn't see this team winning the Champions League next year. Because I truly believe that if he thought that this team has the capabilities of winning Champions League next year, he would have stayed for an extra year. So be an ambassador, support David Moyes. Because he's going to need that support.
Yeah, but now that's even if you show support, I'm just going to announce it to Manchester United fans. You guys will be winning titles back-to-back years or every couple of years. They're going to have to start winning 3-4 years, I think, to start winning titles.
And start
just
winning
credit to Ferguson. I think he was a great manager in terms of getting the best out of his players and team selection on a day-to-day basis. But But in terms of being a tactical genius or leaving his print on the game and inventing something,
There's no Ferguson for me.
Exactly.
Arrigo Sacchi, who to me a very, very good and entrepreneurial manager who
Thinking outside the box.
thinking outside the box. Johan Cruyff, those are guys who left their mark on football. Unfortunately, Ferguson, his results have left a mark on football, but him himself, there's no clear cut. We have to say also he used the loan program to its max capacity.
Yeah.
Everybody that he loaned out, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but just some like Cleverly to Watford who could get more experience, just as an example. It was fantastic. But he did have the luxury of having the media always on his side. No one from the English media ever got on Sir Alex and Ferguson's bad side because he was not going to be in the media.
They were scared of him.
This is another discussion, like, would Messi be considered the greatest of all time if he plays other than the Spanish league? Would Ferguson be considered of all time because he always coached one team? So,
All right,
Teach
guys,
your own, teach
we'll
your
talk about our rumors.
rumors.
But now PSG just won the title today. Now there's rumors that Lavezzi's not happy in Paris. He misses Italy. Thiago Silva also apparently wants to come back to Italy. Both are apparently linked to Milan, including Lavezzi. Lavezzi, it's Napoli and Milan, but there's strong links with Lavezzi and Silva at Milan.
If we sold Thiago Silva for 46 million, we can buy him back for like 15. It was all part of the plan. But
Yeah, but
they're not gonna go anywhere. Ibra's not going anywhere. Thiago Silva's they're gonna do another run at the Champions League next year and maybe face from over there. But no, PSG is gonna stay because right now Ranieri's Monaco just got promoted to Ligue 1. And Francis, what is that?
This is my big. Ranieri promoted Monaco up. There's some big new investors in Monaco, rich. Apparently, Falcao from Atletico Madrid for 60 million will go play to Monaco at $10 million a season. Guys, Falcao, if you're Falcao, you've been complaining all your life. You're not playing for a big team. You don't have a chance to win Champions League. You're going to go play for Monaco. So don't tell me the story. Tell me I'm taking the money, which I don't blame you, but don't tell me all this, I want to win a trophy.
I'm going to lose a bit. I think I'm going to lose a bit of respect for Falcao if he does go to Monaco because it would be. Don't tell me it's to win championships or because of the program because it would be.
No, it's because Monaco is a prestigious club.
What? Oh yeah,
Monaco is a prestigious club.
Barthez used to play there. Who else?
No.
Guys,
Monaco
it's
has their history, but I'm just saying it's
Okay, let's move on. Falcao,
a power of Europe.
money hungry.
Another rumor, apparently there's a swap between Inter and Barcelona for Andanovic and Fabregas.
First, I've been hearing about the Fabregas to Milan, but here's my question.
I didn't hear that rumor. No,
we
you
heard the rumor
the way you want it.
Okay.
The most concrete rumor is Fabregas.
I say no because Handanovic is the only guy that's been as much consistent as anybody else defensively. Fabregas, you could find yourself another player that can do Fabregas-like kind of playing. You would get rid of Handanovic.
Vince, I could not disagree more. Yes, Andanovic is probably the best player of Inter this season, but he still conceded 2-3 goals. When your defense is bad, it's just bad. You could have the best goal in the world. Even Buffon is that would have brought Inter on the top.
Fabregas is worth 30 million to you.
No, he's worth a swap for Andanovic and Fabregas. Fabregas is exactly the type of player Inter needs. A player that could defend, very technical, strong on the ball, could pass, shoot. Because now Inter's midfield, besides Kovacic, are a bunch of lumberjacks. And we can't keep possession, so Fabregas is a type of player. Nevertheless, I do not believe in this rumor.
All right. What's our next rumor?
All right. Apparently, Rooney did not play today. He personally went to Ferguson, the Manchester United management, and said, I want to transfer.
Wayne Rooney. You want to go out of Manchester United because our VP came in, he took the spotlight. Now, where are you going to go? You're going to go to a team that could afford you? PSG? Real Madrid?
Would Manchester sell him to a team in England?
That I don't believe.
No, I think Manchester United will never sell Rooney to a team in England. They're not like Arsenal, who decided that Robin van Persie wasn't good enough, so that let's sell him to our biggest rivals and we'll never win the championship again.
Boy, now there's another rumor this week that links, apparently it's a done deal, Jovetic to Arsenal, and Arsenal said it. They just got a new shirt sponsor in Puma, which will bring them an extra 30 million on top of what they were getting this year. Jovic to Arsenal, and Arsenal promised their fans to spend a shitload of money this year.
If Jovetic goes to Arsenal, I believe if you looked at Fiorentina in the last 10 games, I think they've proven that they could get it done without Jovetic, but they would still have to replace Jovetic with some sort of talent because, yes, you have those players, but for 25 million, would you sell him to Arsenal?
I think that money is good for Fiorentina. I think the buy for Arsenal might be a little bit risky, just given the fact that Jovetic has sustained multiple injuries to his knees, and we all know the English Premier League is very physical. The refs, they don't call a lot.
It's a risk.
Where in the SerieA, those fouls where he will get fouled because he does demand the ball a lot. Usually get them some kind of free kick. I don't know if the Jovetic experiment is going to work. My personal opinion of Arsenal is they have it all wrong. They have a lot of money. They don't spend it. But they always end up in the same
I think Wenger's to blame in all of this. He likes to have youth. He's not into the whole big spending and everything. He likes to have the young players. But at one point now, he has the pressure on. He needs to buy those big names.
He's still fighting for fourth spot. We'll see what Wenger does if he stays there for next year.
And also Fiorentina, could they have two guys on their books that have knee problems? Because remember, now Rossi's going to join this lineup, and he also has a problem with his knees.
We shall see.
Good. Finally, guys, we only have 3 minutes left. We'll talk about our red cards of the week. Who wants to start?
My red card of the week goes to Mr. Andrea Pirlo. Andrea Pirlo. I've made up my mind about him, and you guys will see the first season when he used to make fun of me because to me, a true Milanista would never go to Juventus. I don't have a problem with him talking about his opinion that he wanted to go to Real Madrid and Milan helped him. You know, I am a true believer in you are entitled to your own opinion. What I don't like is him talking about what Marcello Lippi told them behind closed doors during the 2006 World Cup about you're a bunch of this and you're a bunch of that. Talking about what Pippo Inzaghi used to tell the players and talking about Pippo Inzaghi. For me, these are like behind closed doors, kind of like that unwritten rule about any kind of sports. These kind of things you don't talk about. So there's my red card. Andrea Pirlo. I know you need to sell books.
It's not just that.
You always got perceived by being the quiet guy, don't say anything. Andrea Pirlo, go fuck yourself.
Oh!
That's it.
Number one, Milan did not want to keep Pirlo. Even if he said he wanted to stay, they didn't want to keep him.
He could have went to play anywhere else. He went to play for Juventus. He's not a Milanese. He's not a Milanese.
Number one. Number two,
I like him, didn't want him.
he never spoke while Inzaghi was still playing. Inzaghi's retired.
No, he's a coach. Why is he talking now?
And he's not talking during this. These are old stories.
No, you don't talk about the guy likes to go shit during a game, and he told that he likes pastries, and he told everybody. No, you don't talk about stuff like that. Talk about what your feelings are about a certain. You don't talk about what's behind closed doors. That's it. I'm done.
My red card of the week goes to Monaco. I'm not blaming Monaco. This over the game in general. I don't like the direction the game's going to. Not even Monaco have a brand new rich owner. They're gonna start splashing the cash. We're talking about Falcao. But until that FIFA fair play that we're talking about, until they start implementing and people start having like penalties, well, these things aren't keep on happening. You have these rich guys coming over spending money. Somebody has to act on this.
There's always going to be a loophole, and you know what? I think this fair play is going to be like a guideline. I don't know.
Because I don't think Monaco's going to sell too many jerseys. I don't think they have a crazy TV rights to sell. So I'm going to explain all this.
I don't know.
But you know what? That's the problem that happened in Italy. We're the only league, I think, that actually took this seriously.
Yeah, I think. And
we look like a bunch of idiots.
We look like a bunch of idiots. It's
all right.
It's fine.
My red card goes to the Manchester United fans and the Everton fans for some unexplainable reason. He decided to have death threats sent to David Moyes, who still didn't coach one game with Manchester United. The Manchester fans telling him that if he doesn't have results like Sir Alex did have, he's dead. And the Everton fans are getting mad at him because he's leaving to go to Manchester United, the most prestigious club in England.
And he's getting death threats from Everton too?
Yes.
I call
David
this
Moyes.
a walking dead man.
Premiership, baby. Premiership, this happens. David Moyes, not even one game with the Red Devils, already under pressure.
Poveretto.
He wanted the job, he knew what it implied.
There we go.
Anyways, guys, don't forget to watch us next week. We'll have our SerieA All-Star Team of the Year. And give us suggestions on Facebook. So we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much for watching. See you next week. Ciao.